Okay, so all I was saying is project management, PMBOK, simply stands for Project Management Professional, Project Management Body of Knowledge. Okay, so it is just a guide to project management. It's simply it's like it summarizes the generally accepted uh, techniques for how the project should be executed and all the information which is accepted in it. There is also something similar to it, which is called the Prince. Normally they say Prince 2. Prince is it's a methodology for project management. It simply stands for projects in controlled environment, and two is the second version of it. Okay, the other things again is PMI and PMP. What does those two mean? Anyone?
Project Management Institute, think so? PMI?
Yes, yes. So that Project Management Institute is the one that published the PMBOK, I think somewhere, is it 1987, somewhere there. And PMP?
That is project.
Project Management Professional.
Yes. Okay, so you can, like you guys, you can get certified into that. So you can become a project management professional. I think, as far as I know, in Namibia, I think UNAM, NBS, Namibia Business School, is doing that. Can offer you that. So you can become a project management professional. Okay, let's go to question 2. Do you prefer that I read through the question, or you can actually just go straight to the answer?
We can just go to the answer.
Yeah.
You can go through both.
Yeah, both maybe.
Okay, for question 2, what is happening here is it's a group of multidisciplinary final year engineering students who were working on a project. They were developing ventilators for the fight against COVID-19. So these students would like to apply the PMBOK knowledge areas. So you were tasked to champion the application of the PMBOK knowledge areas in this project. So the first question is, name and describe the 10 PMBOK knowledge areas. So what do you have there?
Okay, so what I have is the project integration management, project scope management, the project schedule management, the cost management, the quality management, the resource management, the communication management, the risk management, procurement management, schedule and stakeholder management. Yeah, so that's the 10.
Yeah, the 10 I'm having also.
Yep.
Okay.
What?
That's the 10 also I'm having here. The 10, those 10 I'm having them here also.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you guys hear?
What?
I've
So what
said
is
what listed, I'm having them here written.
You're also having 10. What?
Yes, I'm having 10 also, yes.
Okay.
me too.
Okay. Can anyone just explain maybe how would you apply, let's say, one or two of them for this project?
How will you apply?
Yes.
So I would suggest like the scope management. So basically for this fight against the COVID, you would plan out the project scope, obviously, then you would collect requirements. Also, you would define the scope of the work, collecting the work breakdown structure, and validating the scope, basically.
And in terms of like risk management, since you are dealing with like COVID and so forth, you need to make sure that you are adhering to all the health and safety practices within your, what is it, in the project.
Yes. So you need to do your risk assessment. So in which you need to first you need to identify what are the potential risks that can occur. Then you assess them in terms of like can be the potential effect or and the impact that they will have. And then with that you also address you need to address those risks. Let's say if you have identified a specific risk, you need to put up a strategy or an action plan on how you address that specific risk.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. If you read through your notes, you all those the explanation. You just need to apply it to this specific project. Okay, I think we can move on to the next question, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and what are the key competencies that project managers must develop according to the PMBOK? It's basically in your.
So how is it different from the previous question?
Okay, those knowledge areas, they are divided into like categories. They are categorized in such a way that they give specific competency. Yes, for example, let me just go to the next page and show you what I'm talking about. You can see on my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see here, these first 4 core knowledge areas, they lead to specific project objectives, like in terms of the 4 of the quadruple constraints. And the other 5, they are more into the means through which you can achieve the objectives. And then the last one is the integration one. Here you just integrate all the knowledge areas into one.
Yeah. Okay, so basically I have 9 project manager competencies.
Okay.
Those are the execution, the decision making, the communications, strategy development, team management, business acumen, technical competency, critical thinking, and leadership.
Yes, no, that's actually very nice. Because basically what you have done is for all those knowledge areas, you have come up with like a specific competency that you get once you have acquired that skill.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very good.
So those notes that you just opened now, can you please send them to us?
They are on e-learning.
Excuse me?
They are on e-learning.
Oh, okay.
Are they?
Yep, they are.
I think this question we can move on. Okay, this one, question 5. Before a project fails, there are early signs that indicate that the project might fail. So discuss the strategy that the project engineer can apply to proactively and also reactively prevent the failure of a project.
Poor communication.
Poor communication, yes. So what will you do about poor communication as soon as you figure out that there's poor communication in your team?
So I don't know. Like you'd have to find a strategy to like fix the communication between either you and your team, and you and, say for example, you interacting with like suppliers and what it is that your goals are and how you can fix them before it will lead to the project's ultimate failure.
Yes. So with that, you need to find out what is the root cause of the problem. Then you can address that.
Yeah.
If it means you should have a, let's say, a brainstorming session or just a meeting, a short meeting where you just discuss the progress so that everyone knows what is expected from everyone else. That will be good also, so that everyone will be at the same level of understanding.
Mhm.
Okay, what are the other signs, Ju?
Improper planning.
Is Ju? Let's see. Who else is Ju? Enoch,
Yes, sir.
what are the other signs that the project might fail?
Poor budget execute, poor execution, budget.
Okay, can you
Exceeding the budget.
exceeding the budget?
Huh?
And
Yes,
poor budget execution. Okay. So how will you
yes.
address that?
Mhm.
Spending is coming from.
That's more in terms of your monitoring and control, isn't it? And also planning, I think.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
Okay.
do you remember the question in the previous tutorials where we were talking about like you are the project manager of the project, and then you it's like you decide that your people will deliver a certain quality of work because of their qualifications or whatever.
Mm.
Can that also be like a cause of failure because you are like, how can I say, like overestimating your abilities or how well the project will go
Oh yeah, and that's
without actually, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That
not
can,
monitoring and controlling.
Yeah.
yes, yes. No, that can contribute definitely. That one. So in that case, if you do not do your planning properly, it will affect your budget stuff. And there is also that issue of creeping, scope creep. If you start adding on new things onto the project which were not planned for, that will also affect the project. Remember the opera house
Yeah.
Yeah.
example? Yeah.
But then, sir, how, like, say for example, you didn't plan for it, but the stuff just come like in the course of the project, like, what do you do?
Okay. So in terms of controlling your scope, your creeps, you need to have a control system in place. Let's say someone wants to add something new to the project, to the scope that is there already. So whatever you want to add on, you shouldn't just go straight and implement. First, it should go through a system. First, it should go through like a. First, you should need to give it as, let's say, like a proposal that you give to the, let's say, the project manager. The project manager reviews it. If it's really necessary, is it according to the strategy or the business needs? Then it will go to other, let's say, the project manager can inform the project sponsor also, and all the other relevant stakeholders involved. And if it's really necessary, then you don't have a choice, then only then it can be done.
Okay.
So it's basically about having some control over it.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have touched this question, the potential points. You can always find more examples. Some you find examples where people might start saying things like, "Don't worry, we'll build with this when we get there." Let's say you are in a planning phase, they will be like, "Ah, no, don't worry about making a plan for in case it fails. We'll deal with it when you get to that level." See such things. There are a lot of signs that you might come across. Okay. Okay, there's this one for Dandy. Okay, this one, question 6, it's saying one of the biggest construction projects in Namibia is a Dandy Precious Metals $2.3 billion Namibian dollar sulfuric acid plant. This project was envisioned to handle sulfur dioxide gas released during the copper smelting process. In general, name the critical success factors for any project.
I
Don't
think
we consider the quadruple constraints?
Okay, yes. Okay, that's fine also. That's good. Any
quality
other?
control.
Yeah, quality control, that's good also. In terms of your quality control. Ju, what's up with you, Adina?
In my case, I would say discipline to stick with the plan in terms of finance and all that.
Yes. Yeah. Everything should go according to the plan, basically. Okay. What are the other factors?
Yeah.
Maybe project goal will come in.
Maybe what?
Project's goal.
Or sticking to the
Objective.
objectives of, yes, yeah,
Okay.
not deviating from them. And yes, that's good. Okay. I think there are quite a number of those critical success factors. If you look in your notes again, I think there are there are quite a number of them.
And also set teamwork, like you and your team need to be able to like work together and everyone needs to do what is expected of them.
Yes.
Not you lifting everyone else's weight or yeah.
Yes.
Should be equally distributed and everyone should participate.
Yes. The workload should be evenly distributed. Even good communication, proper communication amongst team members, even good leadership also. Okay, I think, okay, there are a lot of other factors, critical success factors in the notes. You can always have a look into those. Okay, because this was more of a case study question. Okay, this part, part B. This one you can always look into on the internet and see what is existing there. So I think this one. Okay, I think it's fine. This one should be complicated. I think we can go to tutorial. Is there something? Is there a question perhaps that you want us to discuss?
Sir,
Tutorial 2, yes.
so I was mentioning something about a project management professional or something. My internet connection got cut off at that time. Can you please explain what Sir was saying or what? Yeah.
Okay, what was happening is we're explaining this portion. What does PMP stand for? And we said it simply stands for Project Management Professional. So project, you can get certified as a project management professional. This can be done via the Project Management Institute, or you can do it with other institutions. I also told the guys that UNAM, or NBS, Namibia Business School, they are also offering this certification. With them, you can write all those tests and then you can get certified as a project management professional. It's actually one of the interesting fields that you can always opt for. There are quite a few PMPs in Namibia.
So what do they do? Like are they? Because you get project management courses most, but then what's the difference between like those courses and being like a professional or whatever?
It's basically in terms of competencies. Let's say the same as let's say you are a practicing engineer and you let's say you did medicine. You did medicine, but then you are not registered with, let's say, with the engineering, not engineering, let's say with the, I don't know how they call it. Is it a cancer?
Medical board.
Yeah, with the medical board.
Okay.
It's, you see, if someone is up, let's say if someone wants a project done, let's say you're looking for employment and the other person who does not have that, the PMP is looking for it, you are more guaranteed that this person who is certified knows exactly what they are doing.
Oh, okay.
So it gives you that competence.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Should we move to tutorial 3?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tutorial 3 is based on lecture 1C. Okay, so let's start with question 1. With question 1, what is happening here is that in industry, most of the time, the best and or the long-serving engineer is promoted to become a project manager. And the promotion is mainly done based on their technical capabilities, no other skills. As a result, most project managers do not have the required competencies because they hardly further their studies in project management and they are not project management professionals, PMPs. Such project managers are very good technically, but the rest of the skills required are lacking. So now the question is, with the project management knowledge acquired, do you think this practice will result in promoting the engineer with the required qualities of a project manager? Justify your choice. Okay, so what do you think, Vic?
Is the question saying that they went to get knowledge now, or what is the, like, did they go and do those courses and whatever, and now they're asking whether we think it will help, or
It's simply saying that in industry, sometimes when, let's say, one of their best engineer or their longest serving engineer, most of the time they just promote that engineer to become a project manager. But but on that, they only consider the technical capabilities of that engineer. They do not consider other aspects or other skills that are required for a project manager. So let's say in terms of us promoting you, we are only looking at your skills. Let's say in terms of, let's say the way you are doing your calculations, you are able to do all the mass balances. Can that be, is that sufficient enough to say that you have the required qualities for that? Will that practice result in us making a right decision by saying that you have the right qualities required for project manager position?
Oh, the reason why, because I think it basically ties in with what you said earlier that being a project management professional adds on to the competency and, you know, like the quality of the work. You can't necessarily say that just because someone has been an engineer for a long time, that doesn't guarantee that that person will be able to do or carry out projects with the right quality and, you know, basically that.
What do others think? That's good.
Sir, I think maybe also an evaluation of what skills they have and what they don't have should maybe be done, like some form of, okay, you have these certain qualities, but you don't have these, and then they can then focus on developing these skills that they don't have. Because them being like a long-serving engineer, they must have some form of project management skills, but we just don't know which ones they excel at and which ones they are not so good at, and then from there they can then develop those. Yeah, like and so forth, and yeah, and like Dorian said, then you can then add on to those competencies, those programs, so forth.
Yes. Okay. If you are able to, if you are in the industry for long, yeah, you can easily do some of these project management courses just to improve your skills. And sometimes with the exposure and experience, you might actually end up catching up on that skills that was pending. But most of the time, sometimes only considering the technical skills sometimes that person might lose out on other skills which are required for a project manager. Skills such as, let's say people skills, communication, because you can easily find let's say a metallurgist who is very good technically, but that metallurgist does not, cannot, is not good at interacting with people.
Now,
Yeah.
sir,
You can be a very good
what happens?
Yeah?
So sorry to interrupt. What happens now if you are good in project management, but technically you are not?
Yeah, that's another one again. So the thing is, you will need a combination of all the skills. Otherwise, but most of the time, what is happening is your yours, your job, your task as a project manager is more on coordination. You may not necessarily be the one doing the actual job on the ground, because you as a project manager, there are functional managers that may be working under you. Let's say even if you are the project manager uh, working on a metallurgy project, it means uh, there will be a functional manager. Let's say Dorian is the functional manager, he's the one in charge of metallurgy. So, but you, as the project manager, are not, you are not the one in charge of metallurgy. But you know, again, under you, there will be other functional managers also, such as, let's say electrical engineer, mechanical engineers, all those ones. So for you, it's just to coordinate all of them so they can deliver the objectives and the deliverables of the project.
But
So
sir, say now you're given a certain project. Now, like sir said, you are dealing with these different functional and so forth. But now you don't know anything about what that person is doing now. How do you ensure that your project is still matching up to like your objectives and stuff? Like even though you don't really know what the person is doing.
okay, all it means is that you as a project manager, you may not necessarily be an expert, but you must have you need to have an, an understanding of what is expected in the deliverables. Just to give you an example, let's say now you are working at for, let's say it's a, let's say a Dundee, for example, and they want you to expand, to put up a new house melt furnace. You may not necessarily be an expert in designing the furnace itself, but you, because of your understanding, your expertise and experience, you know how things should work. So you get an expert in that specific field. You get an expert, let's say, from those companies that own the technology itself. So that expert is the one who's going to do the job, and you, all you will be doing is coordinating, making sure everything is going according to the plan. And nonetheless, even if you are not sure, the functional manager will also be able to guide you on that. So it's not always, but sometimes, let's say you're doing a small project on, let's say your final year research project, there you don't have a, there you don't have a choice. There you must be an expert in that. But nonetheless, you also have guidance from your lecturer.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense, sir.
Because in terms of project manager, you also have other skills that, like, let's say, like risk management. If you've never worked assessed risk, for example, you're gonna struggle.
Mm.
Okay, we can move on to the next question. We get to question 2. Okay, I think with this one, can we go straight to the questions? Yeah, that's straightforward. Nonetheless. Is it fine?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is saying now, what are the software management skills? What are soft skills?
And communication, one of them.
Okay.
Negotiation.
Yes, negotiation.
Okay. teamwork,
Yes. Teamwork is also another one. That's good.
decision making,
Decision making. Because these soft skills, they are more into people skills. Basically, what
Yeah.
is basically into how you, the environment that you create around you that enables people around you to work to their full potential. So it has something to do with your personal, you yourself, your own personality. How do you work with people? Because there are people, let's say, especially as engineers, you can easily find an engineer who are like a introvert. Yeah, you can easily find an introvert. That introvert sometimes they don't interact with people. So you might be working with a team, but you don't even know them, but you don't even know their names, or you don't even talk to them. You are just focusing on objectives. So sometimes it might hinder you to achieve some of the objectives.
Sounds like a woman.
Yeah, so you need all that because how will you negotiate if you are, let's say, if you are familiar with everyone else already, you are able to talk to everyone. You can it opens up doors for you to negotiate for anything regarding the project, and it makes life easier for you also. Like that, I've even answered this one already. Yeah, this one, yeah, it's the same reasons we gave, like negotiation. It's good for negotiation, good communication, and all that. Okay, and this one, the question C, what would possibly happen if the project manager only apply mechanical management elements and ignore soft skills? Basically, mechanical management elements here, we are referring to the hard skills now. You are not, let's say you are not using your people skills. What will happen?
I can say that if you don't apply your leadership skills, that your team won't always follow, and they won't always abide by the scope and such so on. Also, that also goes in with decision making. I can also talk about, what do you call it, communication, that there might be a lack of communication, and therefore that also could affect the project.
Okay, so that's correct. Who else can add for us? Who else? This guy. Do
So,
okay.
so and these skills is all the same.
Yeah.
So I feel like the skills are just always the same.
Or they are more or less the same, eh?
Yeah, like you need to have like problem solving skills and such things also.
Yes.
And yeah, so like Dorian said, leadership, you need to be able to carry your team and make sure that things are being done.
Yes. Yes. Okay. No, that's fine. Okay. And okay, this one is more on team motivation. I think should be fine. We have talked of leadership, so should be fine that one. And this is more on just developing your soft skills. Most of the time, we just need to practice. At the end of the day, it's all about practice. Even if you read, if you don't practice, you might not get it still. So we can move on to the next question. I think this one we've addressed it already. This one in the previous tutorial. This one, we just are talking about the difference between leadership, the leader and the manager. We talked about it already. Okay, there's this one, question 5. Basically, about leadership quote by John C. Maxwell. that goes as follows. He's saying that a leader is the one who knows the way, he goes the way, and shows the way. So explain how you would apply this code when you are leading a team of material science engineers who are working on a project in which they are developing space shuttle construction materials for the next NASA mission, which is aimed to go to Pluto. So it's basically how you apply this for basically any project.
So like you need like so like they said most leader is one who knows the way. So like Sir said you need to be able to have a combination of both like technical skills and the project management skills so that you are able to map out the direction in which you have to go and the way you should go about it, basically, in short.
Yes.
So basically, just you have to apply those skills and lead your team in the direction that you want the project to go.
Yeah. I also think that, in space exploration, there's always a training stage. It is necessary to always be present, like you as a leader, you can't just tell your team that no, this is how you do it, and then just expect them to do everything on their own. You need to be there and show them some of the things.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. I've also experienced it when I was doing for my masters. I did my masters in it was more into electrowinning. Okay, so what I was doing is I was improving current efficiency. So I came up with a strategy on the approaches that you can apply to improve current efficiency. But then when usually I send an email to the operations team that they should do this and this and this and this and this. Man, then you'll notice that, man, even if they say they are doing it, there is no improvement happening over time. So at the end of the day, I ended up going in the field. So I went with them now. So in the field, I told them like, okay, you know what, just get a crane, okay, lift up all these cathodes. Okay, let's have a look at them. Then from there, I started noticing that there's a lot of hot spots. There's a lot of nodules. So the cathodes were short-circuiting each other. So with that, you reduce your current efficiency. So there are a lot of things that I found that as soon as I started going in the field with them, and then yeah, I was with them for let's say about 3 weeks, just in the field. Every day I go in there and I make sure they are doing exactly what's supposed to be done. Yeah, but some of them will say, no, you cannot just be here every time, Thomas. You need to go to the office. Yeah, but at the end of the day, current efficiency improved. It ended up improving by like 5%. That's like saving about $6 million. So, which was roughly around 74 metric tons of copper. So I think that's one good approach. I think because
Yeah.
most of the time, what happens is that if you send the guys that if you just tell them that just do it, and then you just leave them, sometimes they don't actually do it. Even the supervisor sometimes does not go in there. You see, so it's a complex. Sometimes so visibility is very important.
Mm.
And with that, you actually get the chance also to teach let's say your subordinates or anyone else or whoever you're working with. You get to teach them. You get to transfer some skills from you to them. So when I'm with them, if I see something wrong, that I explain to them that this is how this specific parameter is going to affect your current efficiency. If your electrolyte temperature is too high, it's going to affect current efficiency like this and like this. It will affect your viscosity, it will affect your diffusion coefficients and all that. If you start explaining them, then they will also learn from you. Then at the same time, you also learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, I think it's a good way. Yeah. Okay, we can move on to question 6. Which one is this one? Okay, this one is again about communication. I think it's a similar setup again. So this here, what they are doing is they're working on a pit dewatering project. So here you're working with a lot of different functional managers, like different departments from mechanical, electrical, mining, and geology. So these people are all having their highest caliber technical skills, but the problem is that they were working in isolation, and there was little to no interaction amongst them. So the question is, will this have any effect on the dewatering project? Yes, of course. Because if there is no communication, how will they know when the other one is expected to be done with something? Because sometimes, if let's say let's say if they're working on a motor, if the mechanical engineers, the mechanical guys are done with, let's say, installing the motor there, the pump there, the electrical guys also need to come connect and put up all the circuits. So if they don't communicate, how will they know that the other ones are done or when they should kick in? So of course it will affect the project. It's the same with hydrogeologists. If let's say you start pumping out the water from the pit, if you do not communicate with the hydrogeologist, you end up pumping water out of the pit, but it might come back into the pit from underground because there are those aquifers and like underground water. There are channels in which that shows which direction that it can actually go if you put it underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So communication is always a key there. So you need to have an interaction. This is the same as when I was saying. Sometimes you can actually set up things like meetings where everyone comes in, and then you discuss the way forward, what has happened so far, in the next thing that will be done. Like that, everyone will know what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's more on B already. Okay. And the benefits, if they are working together, the first benefit you can say they get a chance to work as a team in that way. It means now activities or deliverables can easily be achieved, and they can easily be achieved, and they can be achieved in a short period of time. The other thing again is that it's about the team. The team will become more cohesive in terms of like they call it the teamwork. It's more of team building. So the team will become more intact. So in that way, so that will be another benefit from that. So in the next project that you work, you will easily know each other, and you know already who is capable of doing this. What other benefits do you think you'll get from doing that?
So isn't it just like overall success?
Overall, there is also an aspect of sharing knowledge or skills transfer. Remember, at the end of the day, even if you are just a project manager, you are also an engineer. Yeah? All the other guys, mechanical, electrical, mining, you are all engineers. And most of the time, we have even if we did not go deep in, let's say, electrical or mechanical, we still have that basic knowledge. Remember in your first year, there, somewhere first year, second year, some of the modules were the same. We all did, let's say, electrical machines, electrical circuits. So you get to share knowledge in that way also.
Yes.
Okay, I think we can move on. This is more on conflict management. Most of the time, you will be asked a question of conflict in most interviews. So you need to have some good examples on how you have handled conflict. Because there are a number of strategies you can take to address conflicts. Sometimes you can either choose to collaborate, or you can choose to either go for one option or you can choose to sacrifice one of the options and then only do everything partly from both sides.
Mhm.
Okay, we can go to question 8. Okay, question 8 is about conflict again. Okay, question 8 is saying conflict during a project does not only have negative effects on the project. Sometimes it has positive effects. By making use of examples, give 5 typical good results that may be experienced due to conflict in a project. Okay, can you give us some examples? Let's ask who just joined now. Yeah, Thomas. Thomas? Is Thomas with us? Hertha?
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't it that you might discover like certain areas that you are not aware of, and that could like help you?
You might discover things that you are not aware of. Okay. That's the first one. So it's basically we might end up coming up with a better way of doing things. But it's coming from that specific conflict that was there. Okay, what else maybe? Who, the rest of the team? Enoch.
No, what's happening?
This guy's with us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ju.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you give us some examples, Ju?
Some examples of what?
Some examples of good results that may be experienced due to conflict in a project.
This may probably be in the sense that it brings the team members together, and then they will have to rethink. Say for instance, initially we suggested that we are gonna go with a certain route, and then hence maybe a certain member felt that it will probably not yield good results or not as much, and then the conflict may probably result because of that. But then it might be a good thing in the sense that if he's right, then we might have to reconsider the whole going forward of the project. I don't know, maybe in that sense might be a good conflict.
I'd just like to add on. I think, like, let's say there was conflict due to teamwork, for example. Then what this can basically highlight to you is that you see that, okay, there is not enough teamwork or communication. So then you know what you have to work on. So basically highlighting all the bad so that you know what you have to change in order to make it better.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I think that's well answered. It's also in your notes. Also, there are quite a number of points there. Then you can just also link them up with some examples. I think that one is done. Well, okay, there's this one. Question 11, basically saying that it is a well-known fact that the Wright brothers won the race for flight, first airplane, and they did it without external funding and without higher qualifications. However, their competitor, namely Samuel Pierpont Langley, was fully funded by the government, by the War Department, and was armed with all the ingredients to guarantee his success to be the first man to make an aeroplane, but he did not succeed. So the question is now, from a project management viewpoint, assess the literature and establish how is it possible that the Wright brothers succeeded in this project while the well-funded, better equipped, and well-educated Samuel Pierpont Langley project team, whose success was guaranteed, did not succeed. So just give me some hints. What do you think?
Motivation.
Motivation, okay.
The
If
White
they were-
brothers were more motivated and driven to get the whole project done.
What do you mean?
I mean,
Joe,
you can,
the Wright
yeah,
brothers succeeded.
yeah, because of the motivation,
Yeah.
regardless of the funding and everything else. So I could say the guy that was sort of funded by the government and had all ingredients to guarantee the project a success was not well motivated to get the project done.
Yeah. And also there was probably not enough teamwork and communication. Basically, you could assume that the soft skills were lacking.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good dimension. Okay. Anyone else? What else do others think? It has been a while ever since I heard from others. Wait, who is you can see it. Okay, who else? Is there any other idea perhaps? I think that's a good starting point, a very good starting point. Okay, I'll send to you a very small video clip about this, just so you can get just a few hints. But nonetheless, it's more in line with what you guys were talking about. We talked about motivation. We were talking about leadership skills or people skills. Yeah, it's in that direction. Motivation. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
And
this,
we are done.
yeah. Okay. Just to recap, what I said at the beginning is that I've talked to Prof about this tutorial. He was asking me why we did not do the tutorial on Monday and on Tuesday. Okay. Nonetheless, he said, if you keep postponing lectures, it will affect us at the end of the semester. Because this COVID thing might end up going even to next semester also. So he also said today you might not have a lecture with him. He will only have a lecture with you on Monday. Okay.
Fine by us.
It's fine.
Obvious.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, and next time perhaps maybe. Yes.
Did he perhaps say anything about assessments?
No, he didn't say anything about assessment. I think maybe he will discuss with you maybe on your next lecture. Because I think it's project management is going to become a bit more interesting for me. As soon as you start with network diagrams. Did you start with those ones already?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So, and next time, if you guys want some, let's say you guys are busy with something, you can always talk to me. If you want maybe us to shift the class to another day, or you can always contact me about that. Okay.
All right, sir.
Maybe we can not have it at 8:30 because it's very early and very cold.
Yeah,
It's fine.
You can always suggest that. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you guys perhaps want us to discuss?
Nope.
Joe, why are you so hasty?
Okay, in that case, you guys can have a good day then.
All right.
Please leave the recording.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Okay, bye.